Chair.
record again.
Honorable Chair, could I please come here? Governor has just given us an answer. The quantum of any losses arising from allegations of payroll fraud as flagged by the Auditor General since financial year 2013.
If you read carefully there, Chair, there were no payroll fraud flagged by the Auditor General. Chair, that's what I say.
Auditor General, were there specific issues raised by the Auditor General, quantifiable, beyond the policy issues?
Yes, Chair. There were a number of issues we had raised, which pointed out ID numbers, tax and bank accounts. Therefore, that triggered that the
Questions under number one. Number two, if there was no fraud, and I don't think that it would be admissible that there was no payroll fraud flagged by the OAG. They are present. They've cited the specific instances. But members, you don't need to, it's not a big matter for debate, because subsequent questions should help us understand what the government is doing to close those risks and gaps identified by the Office of the Auditor General. So unless there's information or a question on number two, we can move to number three. Okay.
Again, Chair, for us, just the question that Honorable Nyonka asked, it's that it could be answered in question number three.
Okay, so let's deal with it. Let's go back to where we were before the intervention by Senator Cherarkei.
Whether the county carried out any special audit of its payroll, and if so, what the recommendation arising from the auditors were and the status of implementation of the recommendations. Management, one. Of course, I've just read that, number one. Number two, the National Treasury. Now that's where the question of the Auditor General comes in, that the National Treasury carried out a special audit of the payroll for the national and the county governments, covering the period of January 2016 and the 30th September 2021. The audit was aimed at assessing adherence to financial and administrative procedure in conformity with the rules and regulations, as well as compliance with its internal control system. The raw payroll data used for the audit was obtained from the State Department for Public Service, IPPD section. The recommendation from the review of the payroll of the county government of Kisii were the county to take administrative action against employees who were drawing salaries from both national and the county government. B, and act on identification card, tax payments. D, investigate and act on cases of unauthorized person and employees editing their own records. E, undertake monthly access control and management of password to guard the payroll from non-designated users. Attached in the Annex 1, a copy of the letter from the Ministry of Public Service communicating the findings of special payroll audit and recommendation for the action. Is there Annex 1A is there. This is the communication, and it shows the exact numbers of what I've read out, Chair. B, response of the county government to the various issues raised by special audit of the payroll. Now that's if you check B, that's where my government must have responded to all issues raised by the Auditor General, Chair. That's,
so the special audit was carried out for the period 1st January 2016 and 30th September 2021. When was the audit carried out? So that's a period of audit. But what's the actual date of the audit?
No, this is a report by the National Treasury, which carried out that audit again.
I'm struggling to, because Annex 1A is to the County Secretary, County Government of Kisii. It's dated 1st September 2022.
On the findings of the audit they carried out 2016 to 30th September 2021.
Even though, Governor, you just mentioned that